Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself in Life with me, Jody Masiak. Today I want to share about allowing versus resisting and what that really means and how we can, allow life to flow with us and through us instead of going against the current and beating our head up against the wall. Have you ever found that you really wanted something, so you do everything in your power? You make a plan, you do the work, you go. You just like focus. And just like, you just have laser focus on something and you push. And it just feels like a struggle. Maybe you're getting there. You're kind of chipping away at whatever it is you want. Or, it's moving, but it's moving so slowly. And then maybe you just take a day off, or you just like go have some fun with your kids or go do something. And you're like, you're just like in the moment. Things can actually click into place in those moments instead of forcing. So when we allow life to flow, and this doesn't mean like sit on the couch and hope that something will happen or do nothing, but hope and pray. It's about taking steps, but not forcing. So when we were in the middle of moving, and this is just the thought that just popped in my head to share, is because it's one of my biggest goals I've ever accomplished, especially in the past like handful of years, is so we wanted to move across the country. Like we finally were like, okay, no, we're doing this, even though we talked about it for years and years about moving somewhere warmer with less winter. And I finally got clear on what I wanted and who I am and why I want to move and things like that. I got really clear. And my husband, bless his heart and his amazingness, is he just goes along for the ride. So we have this ginormous task. We never thought we were going to be selling our home in Ontario. Like we bought it thinking, okay, we're going to live here for quite some time. We're going to live here and grow up and have our kids here. And we didn't think outside at that moment until we didn't, and we started planning elsewhere. So our house got quite cluttered. We had baby stuff that we were no longer using. We had some, like, if you've listened to me before, we had rough years with it, 2 years with my son not sleeping. So things got a little wacky. And the two lower levels of our house, it was a 5-level house. The two lower levels were a little cluttered and crazy because I like my space clean and organized. So when I didn't have a lot of time to declutter, it just all went down there. Honestly, full out confession here. And so when we were like, oh, we want to move, but it's like, we can't move. There's no way we can get this house going. Like there's so much to do. And we were actually in the middle of a renovation in the basement, so my office could be down there. And and that's the other reason the basement part, or like the first basement level was such a mess. Anyways, so we were overwhelmed by the project at hand. We're like, this is impossible. Even though I'm like, anything is possible when you stop telling yourself that it isn't. Like, that's one of my quotes. But anyways, in that moment, it didn't seem possible. But we knew we wanted to do it. Now, we could have, we could have done a lot of crazy different things. But I sat down and made a list of the things I wanted to do to move. Like, we had no idea what we were going to do. We had no idea where we were exactly moving to, or I've never even been to BC before. But I wanted to move there. Follow your heart. It's about listening from within. Anyways, there were 3 things on the list, I think. And the first one was contact our realtor to even get an idea of what the process is to sell a house, because it was our first time. That was the first house we bought. So we had no idea what steps were involved to sell a house, to buy a house. Like we were completely in the dark. My parents lived in the exact same house and still live in that house since I was 3. So years and years ago, my grandma lived in the same house. Like my husband's parents live in the same house. Like, so we had no experience in our like no one to really reach out to be like, so what do we do? So we went to the source. We talked to our realtor. And let me tell you, that's when the balls all started rolling. Like it's just like boom, 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 boom. I think the second thing on my list was find a realtor in British Columbia, like in BC, in the area we wanted to move. And then I think it was start decluttering. That one seemed just so big, but it was there, I think. Anyways, so we contacted our realtor, came out. It was really amazing. We didn't even know if it was feasible to move, and we didn't know anything at that moment. But here we are. And so there is times though where we forced. So I can remember I mentioned this a little bit in another episode where I was talking about like it was some real truth going on. Anyways, we had some struggles with our painters, honestly, and we were forcing, like it just felt so forced because we were trying to get it all done before March break, so then the kids would be home, and then we would put the house on the market, and it just felt like so forced. We were forcing, and then obviously like things without our control happened. The world kind of went to sleep for a while, or just shut her down, and we had to put things on hold. And at that moment, I felt like I was forcing still. Nothing was flowing. I was really frustrated because we just painted all our walls white, and we have two young kids. And I'm like, they're going to make the wall. Like, it was just, I felt so stressed out. But once I'm like, okay, I don't know what we're going to do next. So instead of not knowing, like I couldn't do anything about the not knowing part at that moment. So what I did was what I knew best. I went within and I focused all my energy on love. I listened to motivational books and I meditated and I journaled the heck out of my journal, writing down all my frustrations, all the things I couldn't change. I had fun with my kids. We put all the moving stuff on hold. We're like, whatever, we don't know what we're doing, so let's just be in the moment, teach, because my daughter was home, and at that point the government had no idea what to do, so there was no programs from the school, so we did our own homeschooling program and things like that. Anyways, in those moments, things started to flow again. We got a call from our realtor, and it's like, okay, like things are opening up enough, and everything just kind of flowed. Now, that's not the last time I went against the flow during our move, but it's the one I'm going to stop with today, with this episode. When you force and push and try and shove your way towards the direction of your goals and dreams, you might get there, but you're going to feel exhausted and burnt out after. It's this fine line of taking steps, fairly calculated steps. No, don't overthink it either, because we can get all caught up in our head. But taking a calculated step, or at least, ask the questions that need to be asked. Take the steps and let the rest kind of flow. When you feel like something's not working in your life, maybe just take a step back. And I know it can feel really scary, but if I don't do anything, nothing's gonna happen. And it's our pushing and our forcing energy that keeps us stuck, keeps us from getting towards what we truly want. So it's not about not doing anything. It's about going within, giving yourself love. What do you need right now so you can be 100,000% awesome, so you can go towards your dream? What can you do for you while everything else is going on around you? Because let me tell you, I was so out of alignment in those days leading up to the kids staying home. And then those 2 months there was, some really depressing thoughts going on. And till I was like, yo, Jody, snap out of it. This is not helping you. This is not serving you. Beating ourselves up, getting frustrated about the situations. Like, it happens. Be there. So be like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling. Own it, show up, and then let her go and, look inward and really try your best to find the positive. because there is positive moments in there as well. You might not see it. And even hearing that, if you're in the middle of the muck, well, like you want to like, yell at me or something. But it's completely true. Every time in my life, something bad or what it is like looks on the outside is bad, I do try to find the positive. It doesn't always happen, but later on it shows itself why it happened in the first place. Why did I have to go through that? Or why did things get put on hold till I get to that moment? So everything, can flow if you allow it. But when we resist it or we push and shove, like I said, you might get towards where you want to go, but you're going to feel pretty worn out in the process. So I hope this helps. It's this fine line, and if you find yourself forcing or resisting or shoving or whatever it is, it happens. It's just becoming aware of it so you can let it go and start leading with love instead of fear or frustration or, it's mostly usually fear though that's running the show there. Like for me, I was like, but if we don't do this now, we're never going to move. Or for me, I was just sad that we weren't going to be on the Sunshine Coast, like in BC in the summertime. I was like, I want to be by the ocean in the summertime. So take a moment, send yourself some love today, and allow life to flow with you instead of against you. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.